Hi, Ray Middleton here, Workforce Development Lead at Fulfilling Lives. We're going to make a series of films to help those people who are trying to help people with complex needs, combining mental health with alcohol and drug problems, which sometimes then lead to homelessness, accommodation problems, and offending. Often when we're working with this group of people, it can be very difficult for staff, to be honest. There's a lot of emotional wear on the front line. And so staff often feel overwhelmed, or family and friends do too, and not sure where to start, or not sure what to do that would be helpful, or how to start. So that's what we're going to do, is make some films to make that more helpful. It's a series of films. We're going to use the Ladder4Life framework. So this is a really simple idea that we're all on a journey in life, and those journeys are made up of stories or narratives that we tell ourselves and other people. And so we apply 3 of the principles of open dialogue to the journeys of people's lives with complex needs. So you could call this maybe journeying dialogue, if we wanted to give it a name. And the 3 principles we apply from open dialogue are, firstly, that we only ever partly know what's going on. And secondly, therefore, we value everybody's point of view, and we try to generate and open up a dialogue and see it from different points of view. And the third principle is that we take responsibility for our role in a social network and our contribution in any conversation and dialogue that we have. And then we apply those 3 principles to the journey of someone's life, and 11 points on that journey, which we've, to make it easy, represented in this picture language of Ladder4Life. And the 11 points on someone's journey would be: at the top of the hill represents how you'd like your life to get better in the future. The direction in which you want to go is the top of the hill, and we've all got some direction we want to go in. The second point is getting sidetracked sometimes. Do we sometimes get sidetracked into that blue forest? The third point is sometimes we get habits of thinking, feeling and acting that we get unhelpful habits that we get stuck in. So that's represented visually by the quicksand at the side of the road. So on our journey of life, if it's slowing us down that we've got some unhelpful habits, the quicksand is the third point. And then the next 7 points are just 7 rungs of the ladder, which visually, on the journey of life, any problem or obstacle that we've got to overcome is represented by a boulder in the path of life. And the Ladder4Life picture, each rung represents an area that it's useful to open up a dialogue about. The first rung is sizing up a problem. The next rung is how do we feel about a problem on our journey of life, and how are we handling those emotions. The next rung of the ladder represents any conflict that we have to deal with and how we handle conflict. Then the next area it's useful to open up a dialogue about is about getting help or asking for help. Then the next rung of the ladder represents planning to solve a problem rather than being impulsive, and we can talk about that. And then there's the next rung of the ladder is about putting the plan into action, so any actions that we take. And the final rung of the ladder, the 11th area of someone's journey or narrative, is any reflection we have on all of this. Have we learnt anything? Whether or not we solve a problem, have we learnt anything? And is there anything we'd change as a result of this reflection? There's kind of reflective practice. And that's it, really. So if you take a paper and pen, you can make some notes as you listen to the narrative or story of someone's journey of life on that Ladder4Life, and note down any connections you make between any of the helpful habits or skills people have, any unhelpful habits, or any connections between different areas on the plan. So welcome, James. We've also got Graham here today.
Yeah.
So could I just ask you, James, how you know Graham?
I was living in this hostel, like a homeless hostel.
Yeah.
And one time Graham was like a staff there. Like
Yeah.
he was a staff. And I was just speaking about about my life and stuff like actually in the hostel, and
Yeah.
that's how I'm sort of like cracking on. And first time I met him, I was talking about like bare knuckle gypsy fighting.
All right, yeah.
Because my mum's side was travellers.
Yeah.
And my dad's side's not. Someone to talk to. Like,
Yeah,
someone,
yeah.
like, just say Dinani gypsies, mate. That's what we're saying, Dinani gypsies.
Yeah.
And a couple of gypsies. That's what we're saying. A couple of gypsies.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, spot on. And I was like, oh, that's how we got talking.
It got you talking?
Aye,
That's
got
great.
talking, aye.
Brilliant.
And I was like, yeah, give me a spot on, mate. And it's like...
So what I want to do now is just using this kind of Ladder4Life picture is the top of the hill represents kind of any way in which you'd like your life to be better in the future, James. So if you think about that question, how would you like your life to be better in, say, 6 months' time or a year?
6 months' time, well, I want to be off drugs, mate.
Right.
I'm not bothered with the weed, because I smoke the cannabis and like take the heroin at the moment. But I've only been taking the heroin for about 5 or 6 months.
Right.
So 6 months. I'm not a proper user, mate. I just some people get cars as a gyro junkie, mate. Cause I only take the drug when I get paid.
So some people say you're a gyro junkie, did you say, there, because you use the heroin when you get money? Aye. Is there other things that you'd like to be better in your future? Do you think, how else would you like things to get better?
I want to get better with my family, well.
Better? Do you want better relationships with your family? Oh, right.
So like my mum can actually trust us again. I don't know I know my mum loves us.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she trusts us.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a bit of a bad it's a bad situation really, because it's because I've always been like a little sod. Little sod when I was little. I was I would crime, I was crime and stuff like that, but it was
So were you in a big homeless hostel to start with?
52.
And what was that like living there? Was that?
First was alright, was what I was I felt settled and all that, but after a while I started smoking illegal high, didn't I?
And what did you find? What was your experience of illegal highs like? Did it cause you problems or no problems, or
First it wasn't causing us problems till I saw what should be called addictive. I was getting addicted to it.
So you're getting addicted to it, and so you're taking it. We're needing to get hold of money for it.
I sort of thing. I was doing shoplifting, trying to get to get money for it,
and so that's and then did it cause you problems with where you were living as well, or not? Or?
Well, it wasn't causing a problem when I wasn't living, but it was causing a problem. I was actually when I'm thinking about it. I'm glad I'm off it because it's how can I put it? I used to I was being just gouging all the time, I wasn't living my life properly, I wasn't living my life of the full.
So you weren't living a life to the full, were you saying?
No,
No. So you were just gouging out?
Just sitting in my flat, just getting stoned, and
right,
was just shit. Yeah. I was just wasting my time and just legal high, mate.
So it sounds like you weren't doing anything with your time apart from getting the drugs, taking them, and then coming down from them. Is that right?
But when I was on cannabis, I could actually walk out the flat.
All right.
Walk out the flat, do stuff, and actually could cook and all that. But when I was smoking legal high, I was just fall asleep and wake up a couple hours later,
And then try and get some. What you're saying is you try and get some money for some more. Then yeah. And that here you're saying that got you into a bit of trouble as well,
with the
police. Yeah. So did that lead to other problems with when you got in trouble with the police?
Well, I my risk was going to jail.
Right. You were risking going to jail.
And I'd done this one crime, but I didn't do it. I got NFA'd. Yeah. And I actually done 6 weeks in remand in jail, Dublin jail.
And what was that like?
It was helpful, but it wasn't helpful at the same time. The only helpful I was off the drugs. Right. That's the only helpful one.
The only helpful thing about it was you were off the drugs.
And I felt, but when I came out of jail, I went back on the drugs straight away.
And do you know, last time you were saying about the legal highs, there was someone that introduced it to it. With the heroin, is it a similar thing that the people you were living with had introduced you to it, or was it what got you into the heroin? About 5 or 6 months.
Put the same here. Well, this lad, when I was living there. He said, "Do you want to go with this?" And first he said, "Do you want a couple of lines?" And I thought like a speed or cocaine or something. And I was like, "I need boy," and I'm saying "Lee boy." And I was like, "What's that?" I didn't like it. It's heroin. And I was like, "Oh, what's it like?" You know what I'm saying? What's it like? And he said, "Well, you get a mellow, you get a chill feeling, you feel like you're in a bubble. You feel like you're in a bubble, and you can get here if you feel safe." I was like, give it a go then. And I had to go on from that day there.
And so, how does it make you feel taking heroin?
It's right what you're saying. You feel like you're in a bubble.
You feel in a bubble?
You feel like you're in a bubble. And it's like, nobody can get in this bubble.
Nobody can get into the bubble?
Nobody can get in the bubble. They sound mad, it's like, when Cannabis, I hear voices all the time, I'm barely hearing voices.
So you hear voices all the time? Yeah.
Well, I'm just when I'm by myself, but like a group session like this, I don't hear voices.
Right, yeah.
Just
when you're on your own, and so is that part of the reason why you're taking the drugs, is because of the voices or not? Is there another reason?
That's what I take the heroin. Well, sometimes when I take the heroin for, because it's like, I feel like no pain.
So the heroin takes the pain away. So is it sometimes when you're on your own, hearing these voices, is that kind of uncomfortable, painful kind of experience?
Well, no, because they just call and say, oh, what a tot O'Reilly. And they say, you stupid bastard, you know, they say, you stupid bastard.
So they call your names, you stupid. Yeah, they're calling your names, the voices.
And like, they skip some story and, oh, what a belter. And they can again, you stupid bastard.
And so, when you're hearing those voices, is it then that you feel like maybe taking something to?
No, I know what you're saying, like.
But maybe not. It might not be that.
But no, like I sometimes like what's telling you, like cook something, like keep
cooking,
active.
Yeah. So you've worked out that cooking something or watching telly can kind of get. Yeah.
Like someone I'm like if I'm.
Or you're doing something.
If I'm doing something like naughty, really. If I'm doing something, it's like a bit like the devil on one side and God on the other side.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like the devil tells you like. Well, actually, when the first I heard voices, like, when the first I heard voices, it was like, it was hard, because I was getting scared, you know what I'm saying? I was messing with my emotions.
Yeah, your emotions were messed up, and you were scared when you heard them.
I was like, well, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? I was like, well, what's going on here? Where these came from and all that, but I was like, well, I thought at the time people were doing black magic on us.
Oh, right, you thought people might be doing black magic on you. And how do you make sense of them now? What do you think about them now? How do you explain
them? I just laugh at them, mate.
All right.
I just think it's funny.
And is that quite a good strategy then, so they don't bother you too much if you laugh at them?
And like, sort of thing I want to say, sometimes I get, like, sometimes pissed off, because like, when I want, like...
You sometimes get pissed off with them.
Because it's like, it's all the time.
Right.
It's all the time.
All the time, these voices. Yeah, I can appreciate how that could get you annoyed. And I can appreciate what you said earlier, which is you got at first a bit frightened of them or a bit scared of them. And they can be annoying as well if they were there all the time. I can understand what you're saying.
No, but it wasn't just young voices, I was like seeing things as well, mate.
Oh, right, seeing things as well.
That wasn't good, was always at night time. It wasn't like daytime when I was seeing things.
At night time you saw things?
Night time, I would say things come from the ground and all that.
What sort of things?
Well, I thought it was spirits, mate.
Yeah.
Like good spirits and evil spirits fighting for us and all that.
They're fighting for you.
Like one side would say, yeah, come on this side, but I was like, no, I'm gonna go on this side because it's good.
Wow.
I'm saying I'm not a bad lad. I'm saying to say, well, I can't be like, was more to be deaf. Was more to be like deaf. What I was saying, like I used to have nightmares when I was having voice with like people just like killing people, killing people and all that. Like.
So that sounds really difficult. From when I listen to what you're saying there. So, are you getting any help from anywhere else around the voices or anything else?
Well, I've got a CPR mate.
Oh yeah.
I've got a CPR.
And how do you get on with him?
No, he's canny. No, he's alright.
So is he able to kind of talk to you about the kind of the hearing voices type stuff?
Well, it's got better now. It's got better because
it's got better.
It's got better because obviously I've been hearing the voice for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the first couple of months I was like, I was just crying all the time. I don't know what I was crying for. I had no reason for crying, mate.
Yeah.
I was just crying.
Yeah.
And I even put a song on and I used to cry over the song. I was like, hey, what am I doing? I'm saying, what am I doing?
So you were quite a lot of emotion stirred up. It sounds like if you.
I was like all bubbly and all that.
Yeah. And why do you think it's got better?
I got used to it, mate.
You kind of got used to hearing the voices.
I'm starting doing stuff me like what's active.
Oh, what are you doing? So you started. That sounds a change from when you were just taking drugs and in your flat all the time. So what kind of things have you been doing recently to get active?
Well, going to group sessions. Going to group session because I was speaking to Graham, and I was like, Graham, I'm bored.
Yeah.
And I say,
You
I'm
were bored?
bored, and say, I've got nothing to do in my spare time, mate. And say, well, I can't go with my pals get stoned, but I don't want to go, like, it's not the way you live your life, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been brought up with, like, pretty good role models, mate.
Yeah.
And
so you start to be thinking, nice, I can't live my life just getting stoned. There's more to life.
I'm more life, like. Well, I like activities, like outdoors activities, like gorge walking, kayaking, canoeing, swimming.
So you've been able to get involved in any activities then in the recent weeks?
I've been going fishing. I've been going fishing.
You've been fishing?
Fishing, pool.
So have you gone there with?
One of the workers who works with me before.
Great, so you've been fishing and pool. And
I've got this group session after this today.
Oh, is that the Hearing Voices group?
Hearing Voices,
and how have you found the Hearing Voices group?
Well, I didn't come last week because I had a headache.
Yeah.
My ear was just banging, was just hurting.
Yeah.
And but I feel like I'm getting better.
It does sound like you're getting better.
Because when I first saw Hearing Voices, I thought I was by myself, mate. I thought I'm the only one with
the only one who hears voices, right?
But when I confronted somebody about it, or was it James not the only one here, mate? Like, because company pal got mental health problems, and Hearing Voices.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh well, custody. I'm saying custody.
So you didn't feel on your own anymore once you realised it's quite common to hear voices.
That's when I stopped crying and all that. When I stopped crying, that's when I started like motivate myself to do stuff. Like, cause I was speaking to him and said, well, how do you cope with it?
Yeah.
I'm saying, how do you cope with it? I said, well, if I wash the dishes, I hoover up, I go for a walk, or I listen to music.
So it sounds like you've got a lot of skills there about you've worked out how to cope with it yourself, and then you was talking about motivating yourself to kind of, if I've heard you right, get more of a life than just getting stoned all the time. And so you've got into fishing, you've got into the Hearing Voices group, you've got into pool. Are there other things you might like to do with your time in the future, do you think? Can you think of anything?
I'm just waiting for the appointment really. I might be going to this studio. I like my rap music.
Oh, you like your rap music?
I do rap myself. I do rap myself.
Oh, yeah.
Was
that Chili Studios?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. So just to sum up, James, have I heard you right? Because it sounds really helpful that things have got better in the last few weeks. I'm not, and although you're saying you do have a few problems still, like taking heroin, you want to stop that, and that's causing you some problems with your money. However, things that have got better is you moved from a large homeless hostel with 55 beds to a smaller place. Is that right?
There's only 8 people in
There's only 8 people in this one, so that was better. You've got, you're also doing stuff with your time, so now you've got into fishing, pool, you're going to go to this rap music session. And what do you think motivated you to kind of want this better life? Because you were saying at one point you thought, well, I'm not having
Well, mostly family work, mate.
Ah, right.
And it's like, my mum used to be a cleaner, then she used to be work at McDonald's, which I'm a little bit sad for my mum at the moment because she's in a wheelchair.
Oh, right.
And like she's got arthritis and diabetes all through her body.
Yeah.
Like she's like everything, like she can't sit down for more than she can only sit down for 10 minutes, and she's like that walking about on her back.
Right.
On her back.
Yeah.
And she's in a wheelchair now. She got crutches and all that. But when I spoke to my mum on the phone a couple of days ago. Because she's coming up on the 17th of December.
Is she coming to see you?
17th, just drop your Christmas present off and stuff like that.
So, and it sounds that relationship's really important to you. That you value that. That's what I'm hearing with your mum.
With me family it is, mate.
With your family, yeah.
Because it's like friends that come and go, mate. But if you get good friends, you know, like if you get a good friend, like, you can have a good friend all your life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the family, you need to stick together. Family, you know what I'm saying? It's like a big
family
chain.
Need to stick together like a chain.
Like a chain, like a padlock, where you kind of snap this padlock.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like deed strong.
Yeah, the family is like a padlock, a really strong chain that you. Yeah. And so you were thinking about how that's motivated you to get better. So they're all working, is what I'm hearing you say.
Like the working class people in my family.
Yeah. So there was something about thinking about the values of your family, and one of those values seems like the working class and their work. And then that kind of, if I've heard you right, that was, you were thinking about your life had got into this difficult patch where you were just taking drugs all the time and getting into a bit of trouble with the police, and this was motivating you, thinking about your family, is that right, and your mum.
Because I want my mum to like, she's so proud of us at the moment, but I don't know what she's proud of us for. Cause I'm like, I haven't done anything right. If that makes sense.
So she's saying she's proud of you, and you're wondering why she's proud of you.
Sort of thing. Cause I haven't got a job. I'm like fair enough. I'm still taking the drugs.
Yeah. And it sounds like that break in the relationship with your mum. You want that to heal a bit from what you said earlier in our chat. Because you're hoping when you meet her,
a bigger
padlock, and kind of make that kind of connection again with your mum in that chain of your family. Is that right? And so you're hoping when she comes up on the 17th to have a good chat with her. So she's going to visit you where you're living.
Cool. Well, she's taking us out for breakfast, mate.
She's taking you out for breakfast. That's great. Because I'm interested in this idea that you want your life to get better, and you've obviously made these really good changes. You've started to go to fishing and pool, and you've moved to a better place. This 8-bedded hostel, I think as big as the bigger one. So in the would you eventually...
The reason I moved from the hostel before is like I was getting targeted.
You're getting targeted?
Like every time I was getting paid, they just like bullies.
Right, yeah, that is a bit...
And like, how would I put it? Like, all my life I've like never been bullied in my life. Well, I just got bullied in Hartlepool, and when I lived in Hartlepool, I had like a Geordie accent.
All right, yeah.
And not so like an Irish accent sort of thing.
Right, yeah.
And just bullies Hartlepool, because I just go to school and just like pick on us.
So you used to get bullied and picked on at school?
And but till I stood up to myself, stood up for myself, and like from being the soft clocks in school, I was the hardest kid in school.
Right, right.
And like,
so you stood up for yourself, and then you were seen as the hardest kid in school.
I was just to fight anybody when I was young.
As a way to kind of react to this bullying.
I thought it was just like deeds, angry, like angry about this. Like you see, you had like something built up, you couldn't get released.
And were you angry?
I was pretty angry. I was like, cause my mum wasn't talking to us like at that time. My mum talking to us now. But shows will start coming. Like my mum been there for us like all the time. But when I first met her, I was telling me bare knuckle gypsy fighting. Yeah. And like from that stage to like going downhill and not fighting at all. Like, cause I knew who it was, but I wasn't fight him. I don't know, I wouldn't fight him. Because like, I'm scared of too, because I'm scared because I know I'm a good fighter, but I don't want to like case of hurt them. So
you're scared about hurting them,
and a case like,
although you're a good fighter.
And case a knife get pulled out and I'm using a knife.
If someone pulls a knife out, someone could get really killed, I suppose.
That's one of I'm scared of, case someone pull a knife out and I'm like, oh yeah, that's neat, but like, not exactly when someone targeting in your room, you know what I'm saying, in your bedroom, you got nowhere to run, you know what I'm saying, you got nowhere to go. So you've been
targeted, you've been frightened of maybe someone pulling a knife, and you're not really wanting to fight in case you hurt somebody. So that sounds a bit of a really difficult patch to be living there for a while.
And not so sad, like I usually, how can I put it? I could turn up on a fortnight, that much money I'm want, but I could pay for me bills and blah blah stuff like that, but it's like, but anyways, there's like, and that's when they used to like target him, and they used to like give us a pipe, make us fall asleep, and like I wake up and money missing, my phone missing.
So you've been robbed, and take your phone and your money.
And obviously pretty much like clocking on this, you know what I'm saying?
So Graham clocked onto this, Hang
on a minute. Yeah. This is not working out. You need out here quickly. You need out here.
Out of the big 55-bedded homeless hostel to somewhere that's a bit smaller. And would you like to eventually move on from there to somewhere better as well?
I want like, if I could have a choice, I'll move now because like it's just gonna be from the heroin, mate. Cause like a bigger. I was like a small fish in a big pond. Right, yeah. And
is it a smaller pond now in this? It's better because there's 8 instead of 55 in a homeless hostel, but it's still, there's influence about people using heroin and you want to get away from the heroin. So maybe that's something me and Graham could help you with, is find somewhere that's not full of heroin to live.
Worker, and she was saying, well, if you're that strong, Jim, you could walk away from the heroin, because it's like, it's not up to the person who taking it in front of you, it's up to you.
Yeah, I couldn't.
But I'm thinking to myself, well, not when it's actually in front of your face and people actually giving you lines, you're not actually going to say, well, no.
It's I can appreciate what you're saying.
Just like someone waving a tenner in front of you, now when you're skint,
just like someone waving a tenner.
Oh, do you want to lend this? You know what I'm saying? You're not going to say no, are you?
So if you're living somewhere where people are taking heroin in front of you, I can appreciate that's going to be difficult. Mm-hmm. You want to get away from the heroin, but if you're living with people who are taking heroin, I'd find that really difficult. So it kind of really makes sense that your life's, in lots of ways, your life's turned round and is getting better.
Yeah, it's getting
and yet there's still, as there is with most of us on a journey of life, there's still some problems to overcome. So some things like moving out of the big hostel with 55 beds has got better, but then there's still this the temptation to take heroin, and you want to get away from that, so you don't want to be living with people who are doing that. But a smaller place is better than the bigger place. Then there's this problem of being targeted and influenced by other people, so you want to kind of get away from that. But on the other hand, you've also gone to a Hearing Voices group, which has been positive. You've gone to fishing, pool. There's lots of stuff you're doing with your time. And the thing that motivated you, if I'm right, is thinking about your family values, that they're working class and that they value working. And so eventually, would you like to get to a place where you get a job?
Well, my dream is open my own business, mate. Because
your dream is to open your own business?
Because on a food, I'll just take a little burger van, and just start off with, just to like collect money and stuff like that. Because then if you need a good pitch, you need like a good.
So you've obviously thought this through a bit, because you need a good pitch.
I've been thinking about this with half my life, mate. Since my uncle got his own business, like a carpet fitter, and I'm realising, if he can, he can do it, anybody can.
So if your uncle runs this business as well, so that's something to motivate you to work towards. And it sounds like you've made some good changes already about finding, you've worked out some strategies to deal with your voices. You've made some good connections. You've moved to a slightly better place, although moving somewhere even better where people aren't taking heroin would be good. You've gone to the fishing and the pool, and so you're making these changes. You know you need to kind of get away from the heroin, but also there's some really positive stuff around. You've made quite a lot of good changes. So I thought this might be a good point, see what Graham's thought as he's listened to you talk about your experiences.
Well, coming from, like James says, I first met James when I was first starting the employment ladder and that as well, and immediately I seen loads of potential in James, and he was in the wrong environment at the time, and circumstances sometimes get a hold of it. And as I say, I've seen him coming along, falling in the same circle, overdosing regularly.
So were you worried when James was overdosing?
Massively worried, yes. It was a time, I think it was 8 overdoses in the space of 6 or 7 weeks. And I think you actually died a couple of times, didn't you?
Died 3 times.
Died 3 times from overdosing, and that's 8 overdoses in a few weeks. So what was your thoughts at that time with this kind of risk of dying?
I thought it was a laugh, mate. I thought it was a laugh, because I still got this feeling, I'm indestructible. I got
a feeling that you were indestructible?
It's like, I don't know, I feel like I'm like 14 again, like 14, 16 again.
You feel like 14, yeah, okay.
Like I feel like I'm still a young boy, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, but I'm not, I'm a man, you know what I'm saying? I'm a man. Like, doesn't matter where you look at, I'm a man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally 24 years of age, I feel like I've gone back 10 years.
So you feel like gone back like you're a teenager almost?
Like, I feel like I'm indestructible, I feel like no one can touch us, it's like...
And did you realise that you could have actually died with these overdoses? Now, if you look back now, can you see that was a possibility when people overdose in the ambulance?
Right.
So
it's a bit of a scary situation, because it's like I said, it's like I'm like, so how can I put it? It's like I'm messing with life, you know what I'm saying? I'm got life juggling, you know what I'm saying? It's like
gambling
gambling on my life. It's like, oh, take this, you're gonna die. If you don't take it, you're gonna be stressing anyways, and you're gonna take it anyways.
Right.
So it's like. Actually, I got any word for that. It's a bit of a give and take sort of thing. Give and take.
There's a bit of give and take around it. So you're kind of maybe you're taking a risk with taking a heroin that you might overdose, which you...
Not overdose on heroin, overdose on legal high.
Ah, right, yeah.
It's like I've never once overdosed on.
Well, overdosing on the legal highs.
It's like
right, yeah.
it's like I'm seeing I've died 3 times on the legal high, like horse stop.
And they managed to take you back, get you going again.
Got on. I don't know what you call them things.
So the electric paddles.
I just like.
And
I had a scar. Like I got a scar on my chest.
from the electric paddles, bringing you back to life.
I bring me back to life. And
Wow.
It's like it's not a big scar. It's just like a tiny scar on my chest.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
on my chest, but it's like. Sometimes when I look at that, I'm like, pooh, I'm a lucky lad, like, you know what I'm saying?
You are, to still be alive, because I see all this kind of positivity about going to do the music and stuff, and if you there is that risk that you could have died, really. But looking back now, although you felt indestructible at the time and you thought you were going to survive, can you see that there was a risk of you dying?
At the time, no.
And what about now you look backwards? Brain's running up you.
Like, if someone said get higher, I will get higher. You know what I'm saying? It might, like, it's like, you need to be strong, you know what I'm saying? You need to be strong-hearted too. But like a couple of people said, James, you got a lion heart, you got like you got 9 lives on you, mate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I suppose if
you've got a big cat,
and if you've got 9 lives and you've your date overdoses and died a few times, you might be running. You know, you don't want to.
I'm running on fuse, mate. But I'm not anymore. Cause obviously, I've been off the legal high for about 4 months now, mate.
And do you think that's a good thing?
I can feel it. I can feel it myself. It's a good thing, mate.
And you want to get off the heroin?
I felt like a weight had been lifted from my shoulder.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like it was like.
So this weight had been lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah. And I was like, this is a good feeling. This I feel like alive. And you know what I'm saying? I feel alive, and I was like, I haven't OD'd yet when I've been in this new place.
So you've not OD'd, you're not overdosed in this new place?
No.
Oh, so that's a good bit of evidence that it's a better place to be living from my point of view. You know, so you're less likely to die.
Can anyone touch the legal high in the place? There's just smack ends, really. You know?
Yeah. So then, the other thing I'm thinking, listening to what you're saying, James, is it might be that when you're around other people, it's hard for you. You're kind of influenced by other people quite easily. Do you think that's fair to say?
Like what my mum said, like that's what I'm coming back again for. And when I was about age of 14, I was a bit like easy-leaded.
Easily led.
That's my mum.
When you were 14, and your mum noticed that?
My mum noticed straight away. My mum clicked on the straight and said, "Yeah, your son, you're gonna get easy-leaded. You're like easy-leaded, you son."
And what do you think that's kind of true?
I don't know what easy-leaded mean, mate.
Well, easily led is mean like, say, if someone suggests, say, take this heroin or take this legal high, that it's kind of hard to resist. That the people you're with kind of suggest things, and they might suggest something that gets you into trouble with the police or gets you into trouble with drugs. Does that make sense? That's what easily led. And what do you think you might be a bit easily led?
It's depends what people want, really.
Depends on the people you're with. So I suppose who you're living with is going to make a big difference then. I just wonder what Graham thinks about whether you, from knowing James, whether you feel there's a bit of a problem about being easily led.
Yeah, and the environment James is in has a massive influence on the way James' life takes. I mean, James just likes people to like him and likes to get on with people. He's a huge character.
Yeah.
And he just wants everybody to like him, and he wants to be happy all the time. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like being around people, he feels he has to fit in.
And I suppose that's a normal feeling, like I want to be liked and I want to fit in. So it's a normal feeling, but I suppose if I'm with other people who maybe get involved in crime or drugs and that causes problems, then that context will kind of influence, you know, so it sounds to me it's important where you're living and who you're bumping into will make a big difference. Do you think that's reasonable?
That's the first.
What comes to my mind is thinking, if we could help you to move somewhere else, that might be a stepping stone to eventually your own place, but that might help you as well, because you want to get away from the heroin, is what I've heard, is a priority for you. Is that right?
Well, if I can live in the same place and be off the heroin, that'd be a massive improvement for me. Like, cause it's like, I know I'm stronger. Like, cause I've been in a situation like that before and I got myself out of the way, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking to myself, well, if I can do that, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? This is easy, this, mate. But it's like, but it's not good. It's an addiction. That's the problem. Like, crime's not addiction. Crime's just you can stop doing it like that. It's up to you. But it's like the only thing I got not it's going to jail all the time.
So you got annoyed about going to jail all the time. And what was that And did you want to kind of stop that pattern of going into jail?
I was like shoplifting all the time. Like, I was when I got in jail, just calm was doing a little bit. I realised who I was. I realised who I was.
So you realised who you were almost partly by having that break from and being in
break
prison.
From reality sort of thing.
Yeah, but you also got fed up of going into prison. So at the times when you've ended up instead of prison in hospital.
I've been in hospital once, mate.
And what was that like compared to prison?
Well, being in section was a bit scary than like being in prison. Like
it was more scary. More scary. Being sectioned was more scary than being in prison.
Oh shit! I was scared because they picked us up from they said I escaped, but they said I escaped, but I've never been in section before in my life.
Right.
I was like, how can I escape? I've never been in section before. I've never been in.
Didn't know what the crack was like with
but when I got the other side of the story, they say no, you escape from probation. You escape from cause the men section because I got a immediate release from jail, right? I got a immediate release from jail.
Yeah.
And I came to probation. I kicked off a big a kick on a stink sort of thing. I got a stroke on Radjord. No good. I just stormed probation. I did but the way I was thinking, I've just been released from jail. I could have gone back to jail again like that.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say well, you just escape from probation service, and that's where the fault I escaped from,
And they were probably trying to finish off their what they'd call like a mental health act assessment.
That's what it was.
And so from there you were in hospital, and you found. Am I right in hearing being an inpatient in hospital was scary, and it was kind of a worse experience, was it, than being in prison?
Mm-hmm.
And then
they keep giving injections and all the calmers doing and all that. I was like, what you doing?
Yeah.
I was like, because first I was in this room by myself. Was a glass door. Was like a cell door.
Yeah.
But you could actually see it underneath. That's the only different ones. That's like cell doors. You can't see it underneath.
Yeah. But it was a glass door you could see through.
You could see through, and it was this like a man and a woman. Didn't make a difference, but it was a man and a woman just sitting there, just sitting there 24/7, 24/7, obviously keeping an eye on keeping an eye on us. And they'd come in every couple of hours, giving injections, the calmers do make us go to sleep, and I was like, what's it?
And how did you feel about that?
I felt raped. I felt just like not the right person, man. I felt lazy, I felt dopey, I felt stupid. I don't know, like in my brain I'm a smart lad, I'm a clever lad, mate.
I can see that, yeah.
And then but the funny thing, I can't read and write, but I'm a bit like you, mate. I see visions.
So you can't read and write, but you see visions, and is that right?
I see pictures in my head. I see pictures in my head, and I go, nah, that's a good picture. That. Yeah. That's a good scene, or that's a good show. Yeah. What I'm saying. And
I can hear from what you're saying that although you can't read and write, you're bright, and you kind of I'm no fool, mate. Like my mum don't raise fools. That's what I'm saying. I can see that, yeah. So that sounds good that you're out of the hospital now, and hopefully you won't have to go back. I know you want to get away from the heroin, but you've described really well about that journey that you've been on, where from just taking drugs all the time in and out of prison, in the psychiatric hospital, now you've got to a better patch, it sounds like.
Do you know what I felt like, mate? It felt like I was on LSD all the time. I was hallucinating, having voices. I feel like I was on hallucinating drug or something. It might be LSD, might be something else, you know what I'm saying? Might be something else, but I was retracing my steps. I was like thinking.
You retraced your steps, yeah.
I was thinking to myself, how did I get mental health? It's actually through cannabis.
Do you think so?
Because that's what I got. I got drug-induced psychosis, and it's like. But the doctor said it's through cannabis.
Right, the doctor thinks it's through cannabis. And what do you think? Do you think it could be something else, or do you think that might be true? Or?
No, I think it's through cannabis, because it's because actually the side effects of cannabis is paranoia, schizophrenia, you having voices, seeing things.
And do you get paranoia now?
I get paranoia all the time.
You get suspicious. You think people are doing things maybe to harm you. Or, all right. You got that, and you got the hearing voices, but it sounds like you've got some good strategies to deal with that.
Mate, I rap.
And rapping, and you have to join this group about rapping. So that sounds good. So I'm just wondering, just to bring Graham in again, about have you seen this positive change in James in the last few weeks? And what do you think about that?
I've seen a huge change in James. I mean, what he was saying earlier about his mum saying that she was proud of him, and he doesn't understand why. If he's seen where he was to where he is now, from like our eyes, and professional eyes, and probably from his mother's eyes, he would be proud as well. He should be proud of how far he's come. He's come far. He's come really, really, really.
So you're proud of
really
James?
Far. He's absolutely class. He's been a pleasure to work with. Everything I've asked him to do, he's done. Every appointment I've asked him to attend, we might have a blip here and there. That's only to be expected. He bounces back and he comes straight back. And he does the next appointment. You know what I mean?
So it sounds like you've got a good working relationship between you. It sounds like you've got some trust there. What do you think, James?
He's like my big brother, mate. That's what I class him in.
He's like your big brother. Ah, right.
Like, it doesn't matter what I do, I would turn a grey mark to him, help, and he'd give us it, and just give us it straight away. Like, and he's skin off his own. He's like, I would, I Jim, and he back.
And when you said that, it made me think of that picture you shared earlier in our chat about saying family is a bit like a chain and a strong thing, you know. And so maybe thinking of someone as, I know he's not your brother, but like a big brother, it might be about seeing someone in that chain of trust. I can see how things have shifted a lot for you in a positive way, and I can see how important your relationship with your mum is, and I hope that goes well on the 17th when you meet her again. And I can see that you kind of want to not go back to prison again, and you found these strategies for kind of work how to not be too bothered by the voices. That sounds really positive. You're interested in the rap and the fishing and the pool and the Hearing Voices group. So it sounds like doing stuff during the days really improved for you, and you're meeting people that way. Is that right? And that can give hope and inspiration. And the other thing I've been hearing is your mum's proud of you, maybe for these changes that you've made, but also Graham's proud of you about making these changes. And then maybe it's a thought. The thought that comes to my mind is maybe you could be proud of yourself. What do you think?
That's what I need to be. That's what I need to be. Really. If I'm so proud of myself, but I don't like praises, mate.
Right.
Is that
you don't like praise?
I don't like people praising us. It's like say, oh, James is a spot on kid. James is brilliant. I don't like that, mate.
Okay. Yeah. I understand.
Like something deep down inside, I'm not like that. I'm not. I've got a dark side of us too, but everyone got a dark side. And it's like that yin yang sign. That yin yang sign is like you've got a good and evil, you've got a good and evil sort of thing. But like a white sign, that's when you're in that's when you're in your glory. Yeah. You've got a dark side, that's when you're like I bit of dark.
I think we've all a mixture of, you know, a dark side and a light side. We've all got good habits and unhelpful habits that we and like on that picture about the ladder for life, there's that quicksand where we can get stuck, you know, sometimes. So and I think, you know, I just think that's part of human nature, is to kind of be a bit of a mix of good habits, skills, and unhelpful habits. And we've all got a bit of a dark side to us as well, I think, as well as a light side. So I think that's kind of just what, you know, human beings are. But on that journey, it sounds like you've kind of made some real progress recently. And is there anything in that quicksand picture about getting stuck? What would you think is holding you back at the moment, or you get stuck in at the moment in that journey, even though it's got better?
Payday.
Payday is what's getting you stuck, because payday is that when you buy the heroin and other people target you, from what you said earlier. Is that right?
They don't anymore, but some like when actually some people did talk to us. Some people
still take it.
But it's not like the full hostel sort of thing. It's only like 2 people.
And what do you think? It sounds like you're dissatisfied with this payday problem about buying the heroin. And what do you think might help you to kind of overcome that problem? Have you had a plan to solve that payday problem about buying heroin?
I need to buy something else. I need to sort of looking at myself properly.
Buy something else and look after yourself properly. So that could be a plan, couldn't it, about the future? And maybe if you chatted to Graham or someone else about the plan about payday, you might be able to come up with a plan together about what might help you not just spend it all on heroin, because there's also the other risks associated with that, not just losing all your money. So I just wanted to thank James, for being willing to share today. Did you have any final kind of thoughts? What's this been like, chatting about this ladder for life? What's it been like as a process, James? How have you found it?
I feel like, and you're acting it now.
Ah.
You know what I'm saying?
So our chat that we've had, you need to put it into action. Is that what you're saying?
That's where I'm at now. There. I feel like I've done all them. I feel like I've done all them.
You've described the problem.
No, I feel like that's it. I've got 3 more to go, and I'm at the top.
Yeah, you'll be overcoming the problem. So then you've said you felt frightened at times and felt annoyed at times about things. You've talked about some of the different problems you've got about easily led, and also the problem about Payday and buying heroin. And then you've talked a bit about a plan, about maybe talking to Graham about a plan about Payday, but also maybe a plan about moving somewhere where people aren't using heroin because of that difficulty about being easily led. You've thought about what might help, but so what you're saying is now you're at the point of planning, but you need to put it into action and overcome the problem, that the 7th rung of the ladder there. You've done quite a bit of reflection in the last hour, chatting with us, and that'll help you get on to the top of the hill there. Where eventually I'm hearing you'd like to run your own business, maybe a burger van business, and do more with your time and be away from the heroin and meet your mum, and your mum can be proud of you as well. These things are important to you. So you've got a good plan about your future. Sometimes you've got a bit sidetracked, you described in the Blue Forest there, sometimes ending up in prison or the psychiatric hospital, but actually you've learned from that, it sounds to me, whereas now you're definitely moving forward to a better life, where you're doing stuff like the pool, the fishing, but also eventually the rapping, and eventually running your own business.
Like,
and a better relationship with you.
James is on a DRI at the minute, and we're attend probation weekly, and we also have to attend Crown Court for reviews. James is in front of the head judge of Newcastle, or the North East at the minute, one of the High Court judges, and he constantly singing James's praises and saying how proud he is of how far he's coming.
So even the judge is proud of you, James.
And to get it from someone like that is a massive.
So you could be a role model, I'm thinking, to other people, that it's possible to change, even when, those times which were really tough. And you've got some good people around you, it sounds like to me as well.
I see him.
And the way that you can look up to Graham like a big brother. So, thanks a lot. Maybe if you wanted, we could have another chat after a few weeks and see how you're doing, because I'd really like to know how you're doing. Is that okay? Thank you very much, James. So now reflect on what we've just heard and open up a dialogue with somebody else about what you've noticed. You may have changed and learned something from what you've listened to, because everyone will hear something slightly different, because we've all got our own narrative and our own journey that we're on. And also we may have something to contribute as well. We may have some ideas that came to our mind when we were listening that might be helpful to contribute, and we may also have been shifted and changed a little bit by listening. So open up a dialogue with somebody else about what you noticed and listen to what they noticed, and appreciate the differences as well as the similarities and what resonated. And also you can share the link to the film with someone else if you think they might find it helpful. And you can subscribe to the YouTube channel if you find it helpful, you want to see other films like this, and just see what you think.